Millennial? No. Gen X. Get it right there, Dutch Reno. Yes, I am a little late. Wilburn, I was running behind anyway, and then John Wilburn had a live talking about the community cookout at No Name Nationals this year. So yeah, let me get you put into the thingamathing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Also got to. There we go. We're getting it right. Pardon my hand. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Mofo, what's happening, my guy? Welcome, Mofo. Welcome, Dutch. Tonight, Mofo, I would like a handle of Jim Beam. I want ginger ale to mix with it, and that'll be it. Helena, hello. Getting ready for No Name Nationals. I'm running my legs off today. Went and got a haircut. Yeah, I know. Look out, ladies. Got a haircut today, and well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks, Gorilla. Got a haircut today. I went and bought all the pop. Every year at No Name Nationals, I bring a cooler full of Faygo pop. All the good flavors. Well, they didn't have a lot of selection this year, but I still got some good stuff to put in the cooler. So if you're at No Name Nationals in Sikeston, Missouri this up and coming weekend, come see me. And I got a cold pop for you. Thanks. Mom Dougster is a magician. She really is. My mom ran a salon for over 20 years out of our house. And I remember back in the day when someone was getting married and they had to have their hair done, both the groom and the bride, by my mom. Oh, yeah. Faygo Red Pop. Yeah, buddy. Well, thanks, Joseph. Evening, Salty Badger. Faygo Red Pop is really good. My favorite is Rock and Rye, the cream cola. Just don't spill it on a white t-shirt. Ask me how I know. Kev, what's happening? Always good to see you. Well, tonight I bought a bunch of 24 packs of Pepsi on sale. And then I got 6 of those. And then I got, oh God, I think I got 18 8-packs of Faygo Pop to bring to No Name Nationals. I dropped like $170, probably $160 on soda. No, I'm not live tomorrow, just Mondays. And 270 air for my wedding. Nice. Motorcycle show, Berry County Fairgrounds during the Blackjack races in October. Ooh. We're going to have to check that out. Good looking out, Salty Badger. Flat track racing's cool. Cool. Those guys rip on those bikes, man. The word noise did my hair before she got arthritis. Do you know Juice WRLD? No, I don't know Juice World. My mom has arthritis also, and she can't. She'll do like my hair, and she'll do like some close friends or in our family and stuff. But that's about it. Mom can't. My mom can't stand like she used to. My mom used to literally work 4 days a week, 12 hours a day. My mom was a hard-working lady, and it got so bad she couldn't do it anymore. So, yeah, my mom's got arthritis too. I tell you, taking 2, possibly 3 choppers in the show. Nice. He is a good rapper. I'll have to check him out. Oh, yeah. There's at the museum, what Kevin Smith is talking about is I went to the Vintage Cycle Show last weekend, and I always go every year, and intended to go ride in the vintage ride. It's only like a 20-mile ride, but still it's really cool because there's a whole array of motorcycles that usually go. And the museum has a new director, and everything is off the rails weird now. And I think they're still trying to find their place, but they were very unorganized, and no one knew nothing. I literally rode all around the complex, which is a huge complex, trying to figure out where the blessed ride was happening. Where do I register? Where are we meeting? When are we leaving? I don't know. Our itinerary says one thing. Like, you go to the website, there's an itinerary. No one's really following the itinerary, and no one seems to know where to go. So, yeah, it had rained at 10 o'clock, and that was when they left for the ride. I didn't know this. So the rain passed, and it was almost 11. I was told by someone earlier that day, 11 o'clock meeting here. So at 11, just before 11, I got on my bike and rode across the complex to the meeting point. No one's there. And once again, I go all around the facility trying to find where it went. And then finally, after I get sent back to one of the places I got sent away from in the beginning, someone there goes, "Oh yeah, they left at 10 o'clock. They're already back." Awesome. So I got there at 8 o'clock, because it said registration at 8 a.m. I'm a lot smarter than that, Nick. Come on. Got an 85 250R this past weekend on original tires. Wow. I seen a metal tank XR100 that was sitting on its original tires, and that thing was a museum piece, and it was unrestored. The guy bought it from the original owner, and Ari, welcome, my friend. West Coast showing up now, y'all. SoCal. Yeah, the XR100 was just something that the old man had that he hardly rode. Guys, the case paint was still on it. It wasn't worn off from muddy boots. Yeah, it was definitely sitting on original tires. The thing was just amazing. And then, yeah, you see a lot of the over-restored bikes, but they look nice too. The vintage ride is always a bit of a shit show at the Gilmore. Figure I'll be vintage by the time they got it sanctioned. Huzzah! Says Salty Badger. He followed through with that one. Well, one of the cool things that, at least in the past, they've done on the vintage ride is they separate the ride if it's a big enough group. Well, actually, they separate the ride from fast ride and slow ride. So if you've got like your 1938 Harley Davidson or Indian, you don't want to ride with guys who can do 55 all day. Yeah, you can't really twist your tail like that happily. So And then if you've got like a Vespa or small CC bikes like a Pooch Twingle or a two-stroker, or a really old two-stroker, you can ride in the slow ride. So one will leave and go counterclockwise, and the other one leaves and goes clockwise. So somewhere in our ride, we cross each other and we get to wave at each other. It's a really cool idea. And the year that I went, there was a guy riding a Vincent Black Shadow. That was just unreal. The thing was just mint. It was like, he rides that? Sweet. There was in the vintage ride. It's been years since I've been in the vintage ride. I won't be participating in any Gilmore activities until the new museum director is removed from office. I am publicly attacking Mopar people on Facebook. I didn't think it was very professional. Well, you know, Dutch, I was having exactly your things that you were complaining about the Mopar show. And I was talking to there's a lot of people at the swap meet that were not happy with the Gilmore director. Last year, as a vendor, at the cycle show, the whole weekend was $25 to be a vendor and set up for the swap meet. And see above warning. Don't want to be drinking around us jokers. You might end up with Fago coming out the nose. Oh, yeah. What is exclusively for people listening to Foghat? Slow ride. Yes. So last year, a vendor spot was $25. This year, they tried to charge every vendor $50 a day to be vendor. And then, so when people register, they're like, well, how many days are you staying? 2, that'll be $100. And they said, well, where does it say? They pull up the site and it says nowhere on it, $50 a day. It says vendor slot, $50. That's it. No per day. So a lot of people got their money back this year for that, but I'll guarantee you they'll make sure to say per day next year. And then, so that, and it just, I've noticed that the Gilmore Vintage Motorcycle Show is starting to decline. Now, the Gilmore Motorcycle Show is starting to decline. However, the Centerville Motorcycle Show in the spring, early in, it's like in May or in spring, down to St. Joe County Fairgrounds in Michigan. Up and coming show. It's really starting to grow and it's starting to evolve and move into a really nice. The St. Joe Fairgrounds was good enough to the motorcycle club is called the Wolverine Wolverine Cycle Club or something like that, or the Michigan Wolverines. So I'm all about that, right? But they're a good bunch of guys and they're big into vintage cycles. So we've had the show there for years, but we've always kind of been off in a spot just in the open grassy fields. Well, this year they moved us over to a better spot. They gave them the oldest building on the property, which is an old white cement block building that still has plate glass windows like these, and the building's way cool. And we had a way better spot, better showground. So it was a lot better. So at least one's ramping up and looking to be a lot better, and the other one's kind of on the decline. But that's how ebbs and flows. It's just how things go. My neighbor got a trophy last year at the Mopar show for his 37 Dodge. They literally did not have a single show he could even participate in besides the mega expensive spectacular. For fishing in a manhole, yeah, well, the brown trout you catch out of there, I wouldn't be eating. Oh yeah, that's the Fool for the City album cover. I have that album. Do I know a Lexus engine? I mean, yeah, but I mean, I haven't worked on any Lexus engines. I mean, all a Lexus engine is a high-end Toyota, so it's a Toyota V8, and Toyota don't make junk, that's for sure. I've never driven a Toyota V8, and I want to. Yeah, yeah. And the last director was way better than this director. The old director seems to know where, what side his bread was buttered on, and working class people like to come do this and pay working class prices. Rexus. Okay, I'm gonna get myself a fresh pop. Be right back. Yes, I'm sitting on a bench. Yeah, that's the bench. Yeah. No, Kev, I'm just tooting away. I had the 3-bean chili. There it is. That's what I wanted to show you. I had a picking extravaganza at the Vintage Motorcycle Show, everyone. The picking far exceeded all the BS I endured at the Gilmore. The picking this year far exceeded. I had this horrible vegan pasta on the weekend. Gave me the worst gas than anything I've ever eaten. Well, see, you need to put some meat in there. Leaving Wednesday morning early. I'm thinking about hitting the road super early. I got Friday off, and I'm thinking about like sacking out way early on Thursday night so I can get up at some god awful hour. So I'll be on the road way before breakfast. So I picked up Mobile Jet Oil 2 synthetic. Ooh. All steel can, painted label. Other than that, very plain, but really nice condition. Get another. Sorry, everything's reversed. So I've never had any aviation oil. A friend of mine gave me a Shell aviation oil, or he offered it to me, and he said if I didn't want it, he was going to give it to a friend of his who actually is an aircraft mechanic. And I said, oh man, give it to the aircraft mechanic. Cool, Danster. So that one's pretty cool. So that's my first aviation piece. But yeah, I told my friend to give the aviation mechanic the Shell, that was hard to do. Do I like Mercedes V12 6-liter? They're okay. You'd probably be shocked to realize that I like Mercedes diesels. The old 240Ds and the OM, I can't think of the number designation. The inline 5-cylinder Mercedes, but it's got to be the turbo. The non-turbo just isn't worth your time. They're dogs. Put a turbo on it, now we're talking. Don't mistake the mobile for the Pepsi. Hey, it'll just be lubed up for a smoother exit. All right, now that I showed you the one more look, the mobile jet. Oh, and she's full. Hear it? It's full. Oh yeah. And then I got a die cast. It's in the house. I got to put away. I got a die cast Bluesmobile that someone made, and I said, how much for the cop car? She had to call her husband. Is $5 okay? You pay $5? Yeah, I'll pay $5. Here you go. So yeah, I got a Bluesmobile. Coffee or ATF? Ooh, you can tell by the smell. If the ATF looks like coffee, you can tell by the smell. I've seen that. That stuff. All right, I'm going to show you some other neat stuff that I picked up. And then I found a gallon Sunoco Mercury motor oil. And I don't think it's for Mercury outboards. I think that was their line of oil. And a lot of the oil cans that I have are all named after precious stones, like opal and diamond and sapphire and so on and so forth. So it's interesting that this one's Mercury. So I wonder what Mercury, the wings of Mercury on your motor oil, I don't know. But this one actually is clean. This is clean, so she's old. But here's the cool thing, is it's got a paper label on it. Because they were taking these good sturdy gallon cans, and they were repurposing them as gasoline cans, and that's what that paper label is saying, that this is a gas can now. And you can hardly read it. You know, the normal stuff, even back then, gasoline, danger, extremely flammable, harmful if swallowed, blah, blah, blah. But the best part is that it's Macmillan, it says Macmillan Service. Helena and McCook. It's got a 7-digit number, so it's not that old, but phone 223-0077. But yeah, I picked, so that actually makes it a gas can. So it must be before an era before you had to paint gas cans red. So, yep, Mercury gas or oil can, but it'll look good on the old Shelferino. If your car backfires at the gas station, do not use the washer solvent. The alcohol in it, well, yes, it fuels the fire. Yeah. When I used to work at a major name oil change shop, and they were teaching us what is the most flammable thing in our shop, and it was our washer solvent concentrate, because it came to us by the 55-gallon drum, and then we would mix it. We had a mixing system, and it would put so much water, so it would automatically do it. But so much water to so much of that stuff. And yeah, that stuff is flammable as frig. Yeah, I'm here, Bufferino. Buff, gallon, Sunoco, Mercury, motor oil. And the paper tag says that it was repurposed as a gasoline can. But it can't be that old, because down here it actually says the gas station, And the phone number's 7 digits, so it's not that old. It's not like Klondike 757. The 2JZ and the 1JZ, one has one more than the other. I have no idea. I know the 2JZ is the inline 6 engine. That's all I know. Anyone ever try adding washer fluid to their gasoline? I did know of guys who would, instead of throwing water down their yap, like rev up the carb and then pour water in it. I did have seen guys over the years grab a bottle of washer solvent and do it with washer solvent. Claimed it worked better. Maybe it was burnt, it was actually flammable, now that, I think about it, maybe it'd work. I don't know. Oh, Buff, I'll bring it back out. Just for Buff, I'm going to bring the aviation oil can back because Buff's an old aviation guy. Oh, there you go, Bufferino. Mobile Jet Oil 2 synthetic lubricant. Says on the back, advanced aviation turbine engine lubricating oil. Caution, avoid spilling on insulation, plastic, rubber, or paint. Blah, blah, blah. Mobile Corporation, Anytown, USA, zip code. And it's full. And it's a painted label and all steel construction. Yep, jet engine oil. First aviation piece I've ever had, so that's pretty cool. Don't have anything aviation till now. No Diddy Lube. Just what your Corvair 880 ordered. Well, it's for turbine, so I could pour that in my turbine car, my Chrysler turbine car, right? I could only wish I had a Chrysler turbine car. We use that in the C141. No doubt. Cool. How much oil does the C140? How many quarts? You were probably pouring that crap in by the gallon nonstop, I'll bet. I bet you very rarely are you guys dumping actual quarts. It was probably bulk. How much oil does one of those take, Buff? I want to know. All right, now that I showed the can again, I showed you my can. Cans, plural. Whew, you guys are lucky. I'm going to go grab some other stuff that I picked up this week. I'll be right back. I got a bunch of old Generous Motors. My dad always called GM Generous Motors because up here, if you worked at Chrysler and Ford, you made about the same wage. And then GM employees made like a bunch more. And so Dad always called them Generous Motors. But new in the box, brand new. GM parts, and these are from the 40s, from what my research is telling me, with the black and yellow and this block style, excuse me, font. I have government motors. I also have in my collection, I have a GM shock oil can, and it's for knee action shocks from like the 40s. That's this script, and it's these colors, the black and the yellow. And then, oh, this is a shifter fork. And yes, there's the fork, it's still in there. And it's brandy new, like it's not even rusty. All the parts are that way. And then this one's actually skookum as frig, like really heavy, and it's sealed. But it is a reverse idler gear assembly, part number 3830211. And this thing is got some heft to it, folks. And so, yep, that's the reverse idler gear assembly, sealed. And then I got a second spur gear and energizing spring assembly. It's like 2 gears on a shaft. Or yep, and it's, well, it's open. The glue, I'm going to probably re-glue it, but there it is. Not bad for 85 years old, huh? Hello from Dubai. Got to get rid of that farty chair. I've been sitting in the same chair for weeks upon weeks. Yeah, these are, oh no, this is the 40s Dancer. They're probably 3 speeds. And Tony's Hot Rod Garage, what's going on? I was just showing everyone all of the Neato Mosquito stuff that I picked up at the motorcycle swap meet, like new old stock GM parts from the 40s. And the guy, bless his heart, made me a smoking deal. And that's not all, folks. Be right back. I'll bring you some more. Yes, there's more. Now we're going to get into the bigger items. Windshield washer motor. Wiper motor, excuse me. Windshield wiper motor. New in box. Yeah, I know it's upside down. So that way, if it, I don't understand why, but it's like, that way it's orient. I don't know why they did that way, but yeah. So you can put it on the shelf upside down, and it'll still be facing upright, I guess. But it's still in the box. Brandy new. So that'll fit your Roadster, your 40 Chevy vacuum motor. I think it's electric. Well, it's vacuum. Yeah, it's vacuum. I can see the bottom where the lever would do this. Yeah, it's a vacuum motor, Danster. I just assumed it was electric. Mohawk, what's happening? Check out the 1940s GM NOS parts that I have, by the way. And then, this is the last of the 40s GM stuff, is a new in-box tappet cover. And Generous Motors Corp Parts Division, made in USA. And I've already pulled it. There it is. I pulled it out and looked at it. This has 0 rust on it. It's brand new still. It's crazy. And there's not like silica or anything inside there to help as a drying agent. It's just they've been well kept all these years. It's neat. So vacuum hung on into the 50s, even the 70s in some cases. Well, I remember seeing some fuel pumps that were dual action, where it was a fuel pump and a vacuum pump all together. And yeah, vacuum wipers suck. Going up a grade and you're getting into the throttle, and when you need your wipers the most, that's when they start going. Take your foot off the throttle. Get back into it. My uncle had a pickup with vacuum-operated wipers, and it was terrible. Yeah. Well, there's a guy around me that would pay attention to all the dealerships, and then when they would change over, and he really got it, he started getting into it in like 1987. So like when Chevy was coming out with the 88 pickup, they were getting rid of all the square body stuff for parts, and they'd have an auction, and he would buy totes and totes and totes of this stuff from these dealerships for next to nothing, and then squirrel it all away. And he was doing that for years, and he's got a huge NOS dealer parts hoard. This didn't come from him, but all his stuff is like 87 and up to like 2000 and something. And it's impressive. Vacuum wipers, it was always like that when I started driving, yeah. A friend of mine had a big old lumpy cam in his rod, and he had vacuum actuated carbs on his big motor, and they ended up running a vacuum storage canister just to help offset the problem, because it would pull so little vacuum that when you needed it to do its job, it couldn't hardly do it, and you were having missed opportunities. The vacuum storage canister didn't solve the issue, but it made it a lot more tolerable. Now the vacuum pump on a Wrangler today, pump was $1,000. I don't get it. So that was probably a $2,000 job altogether, probably $1,000 for the part, and then probably Tom got paid $750 to put it in, plus the dealership made $250 on that. All right, I'm gonna take care of my can, get a fresh pop, and bring some more goodies. I know, more goodies? Yeah. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. Heart throb, bump, 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 bump. Don't mind me. Great, I knocked down all sorts of crap. Good job, Doug. Oh, I forgot to get the most important part, the soda. Yeah. Oh. They were probably dwarfs parts totals these days. Usually does. I would let Tom I'll bet Tom didn't make that much. Maybe the dealer did. Yeah. Crash, welcome. Vacuum pump, you know it sucks. Ah. All right. So, more GM parts. This one's from 1955. It says it on the box. Delco Remy. And this one's a field coil, sealed, brandy new. There's a pull string here. See the string? So I take that and then take the lid off. And so 1955 Delco Remy, still sealed. And then I got, 5-minute job. Oh yeah, they paid you the 5-minute rate too. Then this is one relay, and that was 1955. This scheme is I did my research. It's 1966 to 1971 is when they did this. And this is one relay, Delco Remy. Once again, there's the string, new in the box. And then everything else is still that 66 through 71 scheme. And this is a lever, one lever. Another Delco Remy. There's the string, brand new. And then this is a cap, and it's heavy enough where everyone has been picking it up by its top. And even though it's still sealed, there's the string. Even though it's still sealed, it's heavy enough to where it's been compromising, and you can kind of see it right here. It's half opened from people picking it up by its top, but it's still sealed also. It's not like somebody tried opening it up and taking the contents out, because I think it's a distributor cap. But yeah. So I scored, and the prince of a guy that sold me all this stuff just made me a smoking deal. Oh yeah, absolutely, Buff. That's the only reason why I knew what I was looking at, because I go into auctions and stuff like that and looking at stuff, and yeah, bolt bins, and I have a Sunoco gallon, and it's beautiful too, like color wise. It's a Sunoco gallon can, and somebody cut the top out of it and used it as either a trash can or a bolt bin or storage of some kind. And the colors are just gorgeous on it. And I have it up high on my shelf, and if you go up and look at it, you can't tell that the whole top is missing. Somebody won. I got a joke. I'm not going to tell it though. Well done. There was some guys at the show this weekend that had early motorcycles, and they were running and driving. They were doing, when there wasn't a lot of the swap meet area at the Gilmore is a racetrack. It's like a half-mile oval, and but it's just everyone sets up on the outside, and that's the trading area, and everyone walks through. Well, when the pedestrian traffic volumes are down, people go cruise. Like I was riding my Valkyrie around, just putting. I just had it in idling in first gear, and just kept the clutch out, and I was doing a whopping 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, and just cruising, checking everything out, seeing and being seen. Well, anyways, these guys, they've got like 1905 to 1910 motorcycle. There's two of them. There's three of them, and one's a race bike, and an old race bike of the era. And man, it was cool seeing those run. This one guy was riding a gray pedal start Harley. That was pretty cool. And you could tell that he just restored it, and he just painted it gray, and it didn't have any lettering on it at all. So it was almost restored. Like he still had to put the lettering on it, but he was out cruising it, and that was really neat to see. I don't like Harleys newer than, if it's got overhead valve, I don't like it in a Harley. But I really like the 45, the 45, 45. 45, 45, 45, 1945, 45 cubic inch, 45 degree flathead engine. Like a WL or a WLD or a WLDR. Whew. If you had a WLDR, that's a hot bike of the time. That R meant racing. I think D meant performance. There's a WLA. That's the infamous Army bike that we all envision in our minds. That bitchin' green bike with the rifle scabbard on the fork. I want a rifle scabbard on my Honda. No strings attached. Be wary of the spit takes when I'm around. You know nothing about motorcycles. I love motorcycles. Basically, if it's got tires, I'm into it. If it runs on fuel, I like it. I don't know. I'm a tinkering machine. I just love it. And motorcycles are really simple. They're a lot of fun. They are fuel efficient. My Valkyrie was a big heavy bike. That thing gets double the fuel mileage of my truck. I was getting, because I didn't do any highway ride. I did one trip on the highway in this tank full, but the rest of it was just, two lane blacktop through the countryside, and that bike was getting almost 38 miles to the gallon. And my truck on a great day will get 20, and that's clicking. I mean, that's like the planets have aligned, and the God is smiling upon me, and I click my heels together like an Irishman for my good luck. I mean, 20 in that truck is like, wow. 17 in the summer, 17 to 18 in the summer, and then 14 to 15 in the winter. Maybe he's expecting me to, so he's going to time it to come up with the right thing as I take a drink. Am I? Aren't I? You don't know, Kev. Yeah, the Valkyrie is a great bike. It's right there. As a matter of fact, we'll turn you a little bit. And boom! There she is. Sitting in her spot. Kev, I mean, to be honest, the word Valkyrie is hard as frig to spell, so don't feel bad. It's like Valkyrie. Yeah. I smelled what you were stepping in, man. All right, let me run these parts back to their shelf, and I shall return. Oh, I'm back. Probably no oil leaks. Oh, you mean on the Valkyrie? No, Valkyrie doesn't leak oil. It didn't. I had an oil leak happen on it when the first time I went in to repair the broken bolt. I snapped a bolt off, a long thin bolt that holds the water pump in on the bottom of the engine, and it broke off, and then we had to peel it all apart, go in, extract the broken bolt, and then I put it all together. And stupid me, I got excited, and I used a gasket, and I used ultra gray RTV, put it all together, and then got excited, and I instantly juiced it up, lit it up, and took it for a ride. That was the worst idea in the world ever. I had the Exxon Valdez flowing out of my bike, a really bad oil leak, and I was so disappointed with myself, so I ended up having to go back in, get a genuine Honda gasket, go back in, and redo it. So do it nice or do it twice. But the second time I did it, I used my Ultra Gray RTV, and then I put it together. They said to smear it on, put it on the project, and then just snug the bolts up and let it sit for an hour. And that's I followed the directions on the package to a T. And it said no oil for 24 hours. I let it sit for 4 days after I snugged it all up. I let it sit for the week, and then the following weekend, I finally juiced it up. No leaks. Minty bud. Time to get the party started. Nice. Dino, welcome. So yeah, that's one of the nice things. There's a video, if you watch my channel, there's a video I did about my Valkyrie, and I'm in this building at the Gilmore, and they had a wedding in it on Friday night. You can rent it, and it's got a beautiful fireplace in it and everything. And I was at first I wasn't, because the cement floor in it is perfect. And I was like, do I pull my bike in there? And then, yeah, it doesn't leak, and it was fine. Have you checked into or heard anything about that dealership on Hastings and 37 with the old cars? On 37 or the old cars? Salty Badger, are you talking about the one on the south side of Delton by the Shell station? Or are you talking about the one on M37 with all the cars? Are you talking about the old Bill Seif dealership on the south side of Hastings over by the car wash? Because the building's still there, and they've got a couple cars in the building at the old Bill Seif dealership. And then the one if you're talking about the one in Delton, that's the old Chrysler dealer. Bill Seif was a Chevy dealer. And I have old Bill Seif stuff from the 50s that are pretty cool. If you're thinking of the one in Delton, that was Dewey's Car Palace. The Exxon Valkyrie. Yeah, I said something about the Exxon Valdez, and I had a couple guys go, I go, you never heard of the Exxon Valdez? No. Said one of the biggest oil spills there ever was before the Discovery or whatever it was, oil well disaster. And they're like, oh, no kidding? I go, yeah. Or do you think we figured out how to use Dawn on baby ducks? Indecisive. Hey, Dougster, everyone, I got my 500. Yeah! Go Indecisive. Nice. I am at 405, 406, 407. Some people said they subbed tonight, so we'll see. I won't know until I get off the live. But if you subscribe, thank you very much. Always appreciated. I won't have anything to race this year anyway. Shop Truck is still a ways to being actually mobile. 407. Thank you, Bufferino. Tomorrow evening, be sure to check out Buff Del Campo's channel. Him and Kim host a great live, and always a good time there. Buff's a wealth of knowledge. Kim is a wrenching machine. Together, they make a dynamic wrenching duo that cannot be beat. Always a good time on Buff Del Campo's channel, and Kim from Kim Fixes Things. Check them out. And then they do a smattering of lives throughout the week, and sometimes one on Saturday too. But on Tuesday, they're actually in studio. The rest of the lives, they're actually in the shop, and they've cranked the stuff out. I mean, crap, just this year, they've worked on Kim's Gold Dart. They worked on Buff's Zed Sled a few times. They worked on Kim's Skid Steer, Kim's Bronco 2, Buff's Triumph, that's going to be the base for the aluminum car. I mean, they're making stuff happen, and it's good. So yeah, Buff Del Campo, check him out on Tuesdays or any other time of the week when they're on. Good times with great people, just like here. He died at 75. I missed last week. Headed in for the night. Indecisive. See you at Sykeston. He probably never piloted another ship. Yeah, I think the pilot of the Exxon Valdez, I think he was smashed drunk when the ship ran aground. And you want to know what's even scarier is? The Valdez sailed again. They had her put into dry dock, and they repaired her hull, and she went back into service after a major overhaul. That is amazing when they bring ships when they dry dock ships, and then you see they're ready to cast her back out, and you see this guy's walking through underneath this humongous, millions of tons ship, and they've got these big sledgehammers, and they're knocking the wooden supports out from underneath it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. No thanks. Oh, it's fine. Oh, okay, good. I'll stand over here where it's safe and watch. Juan Valdez, don't F around. Oh, dang it. I'll think of it. I remember the Edmund Fitzgerald. I was in junior high when that happened. They say that the night the Edmund Fitzgerald went down, she was riding 75-foot waves on Lake Superior. She was getting tossed around like a kid's bathtub toy. Didn't know about the Edmund until I heard the Gordon Lightfoot song. Me neither. I didn't know about the Edmund until the Gordon Lightfoot song. If you go to Whitefish Point in the Upper Peninsula, the Edmund isn't that far away, and from there. And they call that area right on Whitefish Point. There's a lighthouse that's there, and then there's a maritime museum on site. It's pretty cool right there. And then you can go out, and literally you're on like a little peninsula like that, and you can walk out to the edge of Whitefish Point, and you can look to your left, and the beach curves to your left. You look to your right, and it curves to your right. Well, anyways, right off in that water, they call that the graveyard because there's so many ships that have wrecked out in that area. And then you go all over St. Ignace, Newberry, Paradise, all these Upper Peninsula towns, and they've got rudders on display where they dove down to these ships and they took the rudder off of it, and then they bring it up and they put it on display in town, telling you what it is. And these things are huge, people. They're like, some of them are like 15 feet tall. They're huge. And they're like 10 feet wide. And they're like that thick. and they're made of big wooden planks, and they've got big steel rods put through them, and then they mushroom the ends of the bars and stuff. I mean, it's pretty well made stuff. They in the museum, they have the original lens to the lighthouse that was made in France and shipped over here in some god awful year of like 1800 or 1799 or some crap. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But it's really big and, you know, all glass with the ripples and the refractors and stuff. And then they have it's a replica. The museum has the bell to the Edmund Fitzgerald, but they have a replica of it on display. So the real deal is put back in a safe place. So if you go see the bell, it's not the bell, it's a replica. But in case some idiot decides that they want to swipe it or something, that's the only reason why. But yeah, you guys want to check out a really cool place. If you're in Michigan in the summer in the Upper Peninsula, it is absolutely gorgeous up there. God's country. Yeah, there's only one expressway, and it only runs from the bridge up to, if you're going to Canada, you stay on 75. The bridge is on I-75. So you cross over the bridge, you're on I-75, take that another hour north, and you're almost at the Sioux Locks. And then you can stay on 75, and that'll take you into Canada, and it turns into whatever it turns into in Canada. I don't know off the top of my head. But Sioux Locks are pretty cool, too. If you want to see big-ass ships go through a lock, neat. It's neat. His 66 Fury became a bobber. Same year my brother lost his car ice fishing. We got stranded on Turtle Island. I don't know where Turtle Island is. Great Lakes can be horrifying, yes. Another shortwave network. 66 year became a bobber. That's funny. At least it didn't become a boat anchor. Turtle Island Point Place in Toledo. Oh, okay. Toledo. I want so bad to go to Toledo. I want to do it as a day trip. I want to go to Toledo solely to go to Paco's Hot Dogs in Toledo. Jamie Farr talked about it incessantly. Jamie Farr is he played Klinger on the TV show MASH, if you don't know. He really was from Toledo, Ohio, and they let him portray that. And he talks about real places like Tony Paco's, and it's a hot dog place, Hungarian style hot dogs. And I so want to go there just because. I've had Paco's pickles. You can buy them in the grocery store around here. Tony Paco's. It's the same place. They're like pickles and sweet peppers and stuff like that. It's really good. Toledo's where the Jeeps come from. Oh yeah, you can drive right down the highway and see you drive on the Jeep Parkway, for the love of God. Best place to perch fish. I love perch, and I think perch are such a pretty fish. Like, I really would love to have a fish tank with nothing but perch in it. I could watch that all day. Watch them swim around. That'd be great. And then perch is so tasty. Oh, so tasty. Toledo is also where some... Hi, I got into MASH in the late 80s and the early 90s. MASH is good. It's so well written and multi-layered. I mean, you're seeing like 4 stories at the same time, and it's just good. The acting was superb. The characters were relatable, and yeah. One Christmas, my lady wanted the MASH box set, and it's called Martinis and Medicine. And back then, that was like $220 for all the seasons. But that box set was worth every penny. Now, anytime I want, I can throw one of them pups into the old. I have to find a new DVD player. I think ours finally gave up the ghost. But yeah, watch MASH anytime I like. I love that. I love that show. I was hoping for a Section 8 too. Turtle Island, you can get out of the boat, catch perch with your hands. Wow. Motorcycle? I don't like Hawkeye. No. And now a certain schmuck in the Senate reminds me of him. Motorcycle. There was motorcycles in MASH. BJ had an Indian motorcycle. I think he painted it yellow. See, I always liked Hawkeye. I liked how witty he was. And even as a kid, I liked how witty he was, but I didn't understand all the things that he was talking about. Now that I'm older and I know more and understand more, you go, ah, I see the joke there. Ah, I see the joke there. Ah, I see the joke there. Klinger lived like 2 blocks east of where I lived on LaGrange Boulevard. That's awesome. That's awesome. He just seems like such a super salt of the earth kind of guy. I guess at where the Toledo Mudhens play, he has his own seat at the ballpark, and it has a plaque on the back of it that says reserved for Maxwell Q. Klinger. It doesn't even say his name. We found Uperites in New Zealand, Dougster. Whoa! Uperites, which are the type of fluorescent cyanide rock containing the mineral solidate that glows orange and yellow under a black light. That's so cool, Dino. Hawkeye was still too holier than thou or whatever. Okay, I can get that. Tony's Pacos had great hot dogs. Ate there for lunch many times. Mudhen Stadium is no more. Oh, that's too bad. Thanks for that, Kev. I bet the old dogs don't glow in the dark, though. Far out, man. Yeah, I want to make a special trip to Toledo just. And I want to say there's somebody who said, Kev, help me out. Is there there's a couple museums in Toledo, isn't there? Because somebody was saying, I forget who it was. Yeah, aren't there a couple of museums there, like the Jeep Museum and some other stuff? There's something in Toledo. Somebody was telling me about it, and I can't think of it. But yeah, if I'm going to Toledo, I'm going to Pacos. Crap, you should have seen me when I had Pacos pickles. I was like, oh. Kaiser Hudson? We had our model car nationals at Mudhen Stadium until they tore it down. Kaiser, lots of great museums. Okay. Well, see, now Now that'll make it worth the trip because I don't want to drive 3 hours across the state just for dogs. They better be some tremendous dogs. But yeah, maybe I'll go check out whatever. And yeah, go take in a museum or two. In Lansing, there's the Ransom E. Olds Museum, the founder of Oldsmobile. And I've been wanting to check that out and haven't had the chance yet. Haven't been to Toledo for many years. Well, it sounds to me like I'm going to have to come pick you up, Kev, and you're going to be my tour guide. Whoa. Hey, hey, what's going on? In Florida. Nice. Well, down in Florida, I need a nice gator tail steak. That sounds good. Champion spark plugs in Toledo also. Speaking of Champion spark plugs, thank you, Kev, for reminding me. I shall return. I have a killer story, a killer show and tell for you. Be right back. All right, so, oh man, we've got the gator tail is expensive now. We've got 6%. What's happening? My ex-warden's still alive in Toledo. Yikes! So I picked up a few years ago. I was dealing with a guy and made a bunch of bought a bunch of antiques, and he threw in this is Avon aftershave, men's aftershave, Wild Country Musk, but it's a Champion spark plug. This one's empty, so I had one that was half full, and then I never knew anything of them, so I looked it up and I realized they came in a Champion spark plug box for the cologne, and so, I always wanted the box. I could never find one. I had just one, and I have it on my good things shelf. And then my coworker comes to me. He goes, "You're a Mopar guy?" And I said, "Yep, Mopar guy." He goes, "I got 3 Champion spark plug cologne bottles if you're interested in some other stuff." And I said, "I definitely want the Champion plug bottles." So I bought 3 of them last week, and I was talking to him about how I wanted to find a box. So last week, I went over to my parents' house to help my dad out for a second, and my nephew, who's 17, and the big gearhead shows up, and I had him in my truck. I just brought him home, and I gave one of them to my nephew, so he has one of these too. So I'm at the vintage motorcycle show. The first thing I bought was, of all things, there's the box, Avon. Now it's ripped, but it's still the box. So I paid $3 and it had the empty bottle inside. So now I have 4 of these. No, I have 3 again. So, I have 4. Because I gave one to my nephew. So I bought it for $3, and I go to the next booth, and I'm talking to this guy, and he's a Mopar van guy, which was really interesting. And then I tell him the whole story, and he goes, "I'll give you $5 for the bottle, and you can keep the box." And I said, sold. So I sold him the empty bottle. So there's one inside this one. There she is. See it? And it's half full of product. So I got the stinky aftershave. So if I wanted to smell like my dad, no. Dad usually wears a better cologne than Avon Wild Country Musk. Oh no, I'm not. I used to have a bunch of those. My mom was an Avon lady. Yes. Put that aftershave in your tank. Yeah, it'd work. Actually, I think if I was to go old school and have to, aftershave up, I wouldn't choose the Avon Wild Country Musk. It would probably be Brute or Brute or Old Spice. It would probably be Brute. You look like a Brute guy. That's so funny because I just said Brute and then Scotty came in with look like a Brute guy. Yeah. No, not an Aqua Velvet guy. Aqua Velvet is all right though. Yeah, I would be the Brute guy. Yep. Hey Justin, were your ears burning? I was just talking about you. And oh, I seen what you left on the counter at Grandma and Grandpa's. Oh, remember we talking last weekend, Justin? Yeah, I know you forgot it. It's okay. Remember me talking to you last week how I wanted the box? Look what I found last weekend, Justin. Main Street Mopar, what's going on? Justin, I bought it for $3. I got it at the swap meet at the Vintage Motorcycle Show last weekend. So I bought it with an empty bottle in it for $3. And then the next booth I go to, I talked to the guy there, and then he wanted the empty bottle, and he paid me $5 for the empty bottle, and I got to keep the box. Heck yeah! Who all's going to No Name Nationals? Me. I am. Yeah, it was a great deal, Justin. Now, so the one in the box is like half full of cologne, and then besides that one, I still got 2 more. Anthony, welcome, my friend. Welcome. It's great to see so many familiar names here. Thanks. I agree. I think they're really cool. And the guy that sold me the spark plug bottles, he had last week, he had a whole box full of that Avon stuff. And he had one that was like an old antique looking flat jaw wrench, thumb adjustable wrench. That was an Avon cologne bottle. And he had another thing that was gearhead related. And then he had a Studebaker. He had a Studebaker cologne bottle. He had a 50-something T-Bird cologne bottle. He had a Turkey, and he had something else. I said I wanted the gas pump ones, and he didn't have any gas pump ones. There's only certain ones that I want. And like a long, tall, visible pump, that'd be cool, because I love visible pumps. Won't be able to go to No Name Nationals. I hope to go to Duct Tape Drags, but that's not happening either. Yeah, that's really sucks. 6% Camera Human. Hello. 6% Camera Human. How are you? Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know exactly why Scott can't do it, and that sucks even worse. So, yeah. It's okay. Some things go potato. I'll tell you what, going on our trip, uh, nice. Next year will be better. It gets better. That's right. It gets better. Last year, going down to No Name with 6% in Hubert's projects was great. It was nice. We got some miles down. We take a nice long break because just to stretch your legs and whatever, get back behind the wheel and hammer down, and it was good. I'll definitely go on a journey with those guys again. It was great. The Uperites will re-illuminate. It was an awesome trip for sure. Yeah. I'm this year, I think I'm lone wolfing it, and I'm planning on leaving like way before breakfast. Like I'll be stopping somewhere, probably in Illinois for breakfast. Scott, please keep me in the loop through text. Nice. Yeah, No Name's going to be good. I've got everything, I think I got all my ducks in a row. Tomorrow I need to check the fluid level in my transfer case, transmission. How far is the drive for me? It's going to be, if I got in my vehicle and steamrolled, it's just a little over 8 hours. I'll get a hold of you this week, Jim. Things have finally started to slow down, thankfully. Good. Hello, all new people in the chat. I've been busy packing for No Name Nationals. Oh, thank you, Camera Human. We always have a good time down there. I'm just trying. I gotta check the fluid in my transmission, fluid in my transfer case, and the diffs just to make sure. I just gotta kind of work on the whole 9 hours. Okay. Are you bringing me that indie timing cover? Seriously speaking, Ken, if I could track it down, if the guy still even had it, which I haven't, that was years ago, but if he had it, I would for sure bring it to you because I'd be going right past where that guy is on my way. So, yeah, I would for sure do that for you. Just because I want you to have the indie timing cover, because why not? Bring up strings again so I can tell my joke. Just go for it. Swing on a vine like Tarzan on a string. How about Corporal Klinger camel jokes? Oh my God. A good camel joke is, of course, the whole time in the show, he's trying to prove that he's not right, so he'll get a discharge. That's why he dresses in drag and all of that stuff. And one of his bright ideas is he dresses in the long flowing robes, and then he has an imaginary camel. So he's walking around all the time with his hand in the air like he's leading his imaginary camel, and then he's telling it to sit down and stuff, and he's fighting with it. And oh God, it's so funny because he invests in the role. Dino needs to hear that joke. I'm watching MASH right now. Okay, Jim, is it Charles Emerson Winchester III MASH, or is it Frank Burns MASH? Oh man, Klinger's so funny. I like it. They had to really talk about it without talking about it, and then they had the business ladies on the show, which means, you know. And the Klingers got it. They're bugging out, and they found this building to set up as the hospital, but it was full of business ladies, and they see Klinger's clothes, and they all like, oh my God, they love it. And they're all like, we love this and we love that. And they said, we'll trade the clothes for the building. And of course, you know, Klinger's like, absolutely not. No way. You know, I have genuine imitation fur on that and stuff. And they said I just forgot his name. Not Frank Burns. Sherman Potter. Colonel Potter says, Klinger, do it for Toledo. And all of a sudden you see Klinger go, Toledo. All right, I'll do it. Justin, have a good evening. Yeah, I got to get off here real soon, too. I got to be responsible just like Justin is. Hot Lips has some. And what's funny is if you watch early MASH and then watch it to the end, by the end, Houlihan she's not just blonde, now she's platinum blonde, and she's got quite the manicured fingernails towards the end. See you, 6%. Good to see you. Bill. Oh, it starts with a D, I think. Bill. Oh. Season 5, Hawkeye, get your gun. Okay, I hate Burns. Me too. Yeah, Frank was such a fool. Gannon. That's it, Bill Gannon. Good job. Good job, Buff. Yep, Gannon. The second he said it, I knew Buff was right. Bill Gannon. Yep. It's so interesting to watch him in Dragnet, which is pre-MASH, and he's a little bit younger. And it's the same guy. Oh, fun fact, in MASH, as a test, before Sherman Potter was Sherman Potter, he was General Steele, and his cheese was slipping off of his cracker. And one of the favorite lines, because he still had that hard, rough, and gruff, and he said, "What's your name, sir?" And he says, "It's Steele with 3 E's and not all in a row." Auto salvage. Oh, saw ×6. What's happening? Jack Webb played Dean Wormer and in Animal House, but Jack refused to do it. Yep. All right. Where is Colonel Potter from? Yeah, I'm going to No Name. I'll be there. Where is Colonel Potter from in the show? Iowa? No, not Iowa. Missouri. Yes. Hannibal, Missouri. Where is Charles Emerson Winchester III from? Where is Charles Emerson Winchester III from? Boston. Yes, he's from Boston. Where is BJ Honeycutt from? Alabama. No, he is not from Alabama. California. Yes, he is from California. Yes, Turbo Tom and Dan both got it. He is from San Francisco. Where is Rizzo from? He's the one that always smokes the cigars, and he where's he from? Yeah, Rizzo. His great-grandfather was my ex-great-grandfather. Don't remember Rizzo? Okay. Rizzo had a small role. He was a motor pool mechanic, and he always had a real short cigar shoved in his face. And he's from Louisiana down on the bayou. Where's Hawkeye from? Iowa. No. There is a character from Iowa. Eventually you'll get it right, Dan, but not right now. Maine. Yes. Turbo Tom got it. He's from Crabapple Cove, Maine. Where's Hot Lips from? This is a good one. Where's Hot Lips from? I'm going to shut up the garage. Do. Lights out. Good night, Valkyrie. Good night. Army. Wow. Turbo Tom is on fire. He's right. She's an Army brat. She lived everywhere. Her parents were full-on military, so her father was like a general or a colonel, or he was big cheese. So very good. Turbo Tom knows his mash. Okay, and everybody knows that Klinger's from Toledo, Ohio. So where is Radar from? Kylie, what's happening? Yep, she was an Army brat. Yep. I should send Doug my MASH IV pole and glass jug. It's a collectible. That sounds pretty cool. Iowa. Yes. Finally, Danster got it. Yes. Turbo Tom and Danster both got it. Radar is from Ottumwa, Iowa. So, okay. Where is Frank Burns from? Where is Frank Burns from? He is from Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Danster for the win. Yep, Turbo Tom too. All right. And where is Henry Blake? Where's Colonel Henry Blake from? Yep, Fort Wayne. It must be a 10 millimeter wrench. No, it's 25/64. which is 10 millimeter in standard. Illinois. Yes. I think he's from Bloomington, Illinois. I think he's from Bloomington. Okay. For our standard characters, I think we've covered everyone. Rizzo. Oh. Where's Father John Patrick Francis Mulcahy from? Extra credit. Where did he go to college? What's happening, Junkyard D? New York? No. Notre Dame? No. This is too much to remember. Good guess, though. Very good guess, Danny. Very good guess, but no, not Notre Dame. Junkyard, no worries, man. I'm bringing Spotted Cow. Bringing a whole case of it down to No Name. I think, and I'm not positive, but I think no one has guessed yet. I think Father John Patrick Francis Mulcahy is from Chicago. And I think that he went to Loyola for college, which I think is another faith-based school. What was Father Mulcahy's sister's profession? Jesse James, what's happening? Model car questions. None. Yes, a none. Model car questions. Okay. What model car company is named after a famous aviator? This is a real stretch. This is a slam dunk for Kev. Lindbergh. Yes. Good job, Jim. Model car questions. All right. What, in my opinion, what is the best model paint to use? Brand. And it's a great, never heard of Lindbergh? I got a Lindbergh model in the house. Oh, Colonel Flagg. No, I don't. Let me see. I don't know anything about Colonel Flagg. Testers. No, it's not Testers. There's better out there. My favorite is not Testers. I think it's Top Shelf. Pastel? No, not Pastel. I like gloss colors too. It's an actual brand. Pactra? No. Flagg was a nut. Oh, yeah. And I think that's the whole reason why you don't know anything about him, is because he's like the international man of mystery kind of thing. And, he's not who he says he is, and he's probably not. And of course, he's not even Colonel Flagg. He's called by a totally different name by another agent in one of the shows. Yeah, that was always great. I love it when he's all in disguise as someone else, and he walks in. They're like, "What do you want, Flagg?" And he's like, "You knew it was me?" "Yeah, we know it's you." Automotive paint or nail polish is what I use. Wow. Rust-Oleum. No, actually, I like Tamiya. I like Tamiya paint. You pay dearly for it, but I've had really great results with Tamiya paint, especially the Tamiya Sandable Primer. That is my favorite. You get such good crisp lines and everything with the Tamiya Sandable Primer. I'll use whatever paint, testers, whatever. I'll always use the Tamiya Sandable Primer. Good stuff. And they come in these little deodorant cans, and they're like expensive as frig, but you'd be surprised how much surface it'll cover on a car model body. Rust-Oleum is a curse word in the hobby. Yeah, Tamiya is pretty good. It's also mucho expensive, but Tamiya does not make junk. Yeah, Tamiya kits. There was a Tamiya motorcycle model that I wanted in the worst way, and then I was actually just going to buy it, and then it was open, so I actually opened it up and looked, and there was parts missing. So I was like, nope, that's not gonna work. MPC, AMT, or Johan. Johan was made in Detroit. Rust-Oleum is for patio furniture. You see, speaking of which, every St. Patty's Day, I transform into, I'm no longer Dougster. For just St. Patty's Day, I'm patio furniture. The spin and weld model kits? No. $60 for Tamiya kits. I have a Revell model that is Mickey Thompson's Revelator, and it's a Pontiac Grand Am, like a late 70s Pontiac Grand Am, like a 77. And this one is in yellow, and I do not care for the yellow Revelator Mickey Thompson car. The other Revelator was in a brilliant orange, and I would much rather, if I was to, it's still sealed in the plastic, but if I was to build it, I would probably make it the orange Revelator car. Patio furniture. I've downsized my model car collection. I think I'm down to 200 from over 15. Holy cow is right. Mobius model kits are the best on the market now. Lady Dougster gave me a 69 GTO in Carousel Red model kit for Christmas one year, and it was a die-cast painted body, and it had all of its decals already on it, and then I got to build the car and assemble it, and it was hands down the nicest model for something that was offered to you with a lot of the work done. Like the dashboard had chrome striping where it needed to be, and orange needle, you could see the needle on the Speedo, and the horn ring had a decal on it already. The radio knobs were painted. It had a fuzzy carpet shell. It had vinyl seats. It was over the top nice. It was hands down the nicest model kit I ever put together. I would find it a lot more rewarding to build something of that caliber versus just putting it all together, but it was a very nice model kit. Yeah, before I had the Wolverine Garage, when we lived in our apartment, I did model cars heavily because I didn't have a garage of my own to play in. So once I got my real garage, all my models are put up. I'll have to pull them out and showcase them one evening here on a live stream. Holy wow. It's like almost midnight. Yes, it is almost midnight. All right, I gotta be a party pooper and pull the plug. I gotta work and stuff in the morning. So, thanks to everyone for showing up. Good times with great people as always. So, let's be like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. Come again here, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Next week, when we see each other again, I'll be home from the No Name National. So I got Monday off. So I'll be able to give you a recap of the No Name National. So until then, bye everybody.